right. Well, your favorite topic of the week.
Yes.
Man, it is. How far back do you have to think in sports, much not just NFL, but in sports for a cataclysmic implosion of turning your season around, of making the play of an 0-3 start? No way in hell you're going to the playoffs. You lose a game to the Ravens and the Titans that you're like, now you're really screwed. And then they fight back, and now they got it made. You got a home game against the Raiders, and then you got to go on the road against the worst team in professional sports. You're in, baby.
98%. 98% chance. Dude, I've been doing this for almost 40 years, okay? And I've seen a lot of bad losses. I've seen a lot of losses that came out of nowhere. But this was the single most shocking performance I can ever remember in the time that I've covered sports. Now, you go through the annals of sports, I'm sure there are some that compare or maybe even exceed what happened on Sunday in Jacksonville. But quite honestly, in the times that I've been watching sports, I've never seen a team come up flatter in a game that meant everything against a worse opponent in my entire professional life. Never seen it. It was unbelievable. I mean, it wasn't like they got beat by a fluke. It wasn't like, one play here, one play there. They got the crap kicked out of them by a team. But, the coaches are already updating their resumes. They're all interim coaches. You've got players who made reservations for Cancun a month ago. And here you are getting your teeth kicked in by this god-awful team that can't beat anybody, that lost 50-10 to New England 1 week earlier.
That has been washed in all kinds of Urban Meyer crap all year long.
Right.
They're a lost team, so they had no direction. And there's nothing worse for any kind of a team than to be in a situation like that where there's no direction. And you know that there was no direction because the assistant coaches were not in concert with the head coach. The head coach was not in concert with anything. And to be able to pull off that win, first of all, how big is that for Jacksonville to end their season?
Well, it's nice, but it's relatively meaningless because they still get the number 1 draft pick because of what Detroit did. Really, it has very little to do with Jacksonville and everything to do with the Indianapolis Colts because this changes every conceivable narrative heading into the offseason. I mean, before the Jacksonville game, I think you would have said, yeah, Carson Wentz had his moments, good, bad, indifferent. But, we move forward with him next year. He's got 1 year left in his contract, at least in terms of guaranteed money. And you move on, you see if you can't do any better with a full offseason and a full training camp. This changes everything. This brings us back to that elemental question of, is this the right quarterback moving forward? And I don't know, but I don't think that Jim Irsay is convinced he's the guy. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow from Chris Ballard what he's thinking. And I thought it was very interesting that when we talked to Frank Reich on Monday, he did not commit to Carson Wentz as his quarterback of next year. And I think that has a lot to do with the post-game meeting that Ballard and Reich had with Jim Irsay. Or it was right after the game. They got back from Jacksonville, and he said, get your asses into the office. We need to talk. So it's my understanding, my belief that Jim Irsay is not happy at all. But I think he has some serious questions about moving forward with Carson Wentz.
Is it me, or has Jim Irsay grown up as an owner in the last 5 years and become one of the better owners in the NFL?
I think he's been one of the best owners in the league for a long time, for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's a football guy. Most owners own 15 other businesses, and they're multi-zillionaires through other.
This is what
endeavors.
He grew up with.
This
he
is
grew
what
up as a Colt.
And he wasn't a very good GM, but he was a GM when he was in his 20s, for crying out loud. So he understands the game of football. He grew up really from the bottom up. I mean, he was the kid, grabbing jock straps out of the locker room for Johnny Unitas when he was a kid. And so he knows the game. He's not an idiot like some of these other owners, like the ones you see in New York and elsewhere. And
Miami?
he's willing in Miami, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to. I mean, he's a bigger fan than any Joe Schmo from Kokomo. Honest to God, he is so invested in how this team plays and what it means to the city. So no, I think, and what's good about him is he's involved without being overly involved, if that makes any sense. I mean, he gets his hands dirty, but he's not Jerry Jones, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he sends out tweets about things, but he is not shooting out craziness. Does a ton for the community. He has become such a part of the Indianapolis community. You have to take your hat off.
This is killing him, Jim. I'm telling you.
I promise you, he wants to win so bad. He wants that next Peyton Manning, which everybody does, of course, but he knows that they're out there. It's just you have to get them. Who is there are going to be options for them. I mean,
not many. If you look at the free agent quarterbacks out there, the only people who, if you want to have a dream scenario, Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. If you can get those are the one of those two dudes, then you're sitting pretty. There's no guarantee that those guys are moving on. But you look at the free agency class beyond that, you're looking at a lot of Teddy Bridgewater types. And I don't believe you can do any more with Teddy Bridgewater than you can with Carson Wentz.
How much room do the Colts have cap-wise, money-wise? Do they have an open check that they can go out and make Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson offers that they can't make them an offer they can't refuse?
Well, they've got around $52 million in cap space. Look, if they drop Wentz, they'll take a $15 million hit, which will hurt. Certainly, Quentin Nelson's going to get a long-range extension with his new contract coming up here probably this offseason. It would be a tough one to do. That said, if you have a chance to get Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, you do whatever in the hell it takes financially. To me, if it means you don't re-sign Quentin Nelson, even though he's a Hall of Famer, then you do it. If you have a chance to because look, you win Super Bowls with elite quarterbacks. You don't win Super Bowls with elite left tackles or elite left guards. I mean, as great as he is, and he is one of one. I mean, he's the best. He's in John Hanna territory already. But I think if you're asking me what are they going to do, I think they're going to stay with Carson for one more year. Because they gave up so much for him. There's a financial element to this, and there's not a lot of great options. But if by some miracle Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers becomes available, then it would be malpractice if they didn't make every conceivable effort to bring him in.
Yeah, you've got the Steelers are going to be a new face next season. This is Big Ben's last year, and we've seen daggone it, Drew Brees, here last year, so gone.
Right. A lot of people need quarterbacks.
Tom Brady probably only has 3 to 5 years left.
Is that all? Yeah. Is he 50 yet? Jesus. He's only the MVP, him or Aaron Rodgers. So